Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. And I want to thank everybody out there for joining us here on Lions Talk Live. Plus, give a shout out to all the people in Seattle to knocking off the Philadelphia Eagles last night. There was a big one, an unexpected one. But hey, give Drew Lock some credit. That kid might not have done much for most of the game, but when the game was on the line, he went down the field and scored a touchdown. And man, what a drive. What a play by Love at the end to get the pick, too. Anywho, I see we're moving and shaking the comment section, so I won't bore you guys with a recap of the Seattle Philly game. But hey, if you're new to Lions Talk Live or you haven't yet subscribed, please consider doing so. Really trying to make that push to get to 4,900 by kickoff this weekend. If you can do your part to make that happen, that sure would be great. I think we're about 90 subs away, right around there. And from there, the march is on to 5,000. So if you would be ever so kind, maybe you're in the mood for a little Christmas giving, go ahead and hit that subscription button while even considering hitting the thumbs up button. All right, one last thing real quick. I'm sure most of you guys know, but if not, here I'm giving you some knowledge. If you are considering buying or selling property either now or in the upcoming year, give me a call, shoot me a text. I'm over 30 years in the business, so outside of being a coach, a scout, and all that stuff, I have been a realtor for over 30 years and one of the Zillow Premier Agents Best. That means I'm one of the top 5% of realtors in the entire country. So if you want someone who's going to work on your behalf, try to save you some money on either the purchase or sale of property, go ahead and give me a call, shoot me a text. Let's see what I can do to help you out in your situation. All right, welcome to Lions Talk Live. Let's get this going. Hey, Lions, as I'm sure we all know, we've got a chance for the number 2 seed. What the difference that would make? That means you would have at least 2 playoff games at home at Ford Field in the playoffs. And you know what? I'm going to say this. The Lions do pretty well at home. Doesn't mean they're perfect, but they do pretty well at home. So why not try to get as many home games as possible at Ford Field? Something to play for. And then obviously we didn't secure a playoff spot by Seattle winning last night. But you know what? We got 3 games left. We win any of these 3 games. We've got the NFC North. We've got at least a home playoff game. And the fact that the potential is still here for us to secure the number 2 seed, that's really saying something. So, all right, moving on here, we got JDC. What do you got? Good morning, all. Good morning, you too. Hooker time. Good morning, all. I loved how the Titans trolled the Houston Texans by wearing the vintage Oilers helmets jersey combo last week, and well played. Yeah, that was something, wasn't it? Yeah. Detroit, Matt, what do you got? Woo! Thank you, Seattle, for that second seed is alive and possibly for the first with the 49ers lose 2 games. What a time to be alive. Go Lions. Yeah. And I think we all get the Philadelphia's road to the playoffs from here on out gets significantly more achievable. They got the Giants twice, and I don't remember who the third game is. 49ers, hey, yeah, if they can lose some games, but let's be very honest here. The Lions have an opportunity here. The Minnesota Vikings, can they win? Absolutely. Absolutely they can. But I think the Lions do have a real good chance to sweep both games, especially if that last game of the regular season is a meaningful one for Detroit. There's a high probability that, hey, we could enter that final week of the season, and that game's basically pointless. So, that could provide, in that scenario, it could provide a chance for the Detroit Lions to go ahead and just rest some players. I would still say, hey, your starters, keep them out there at least a quarter, and then for the rest of the game, give them the day off. Let them try to heal their bodies as much as possible. The Cowboys game will be the great unknown, I think, in this equation. They're going to have a reason to play. I'm going to guess that game because, between them and Philadelphia, it's going to be, I think, a battle until the last week of the season. Who gets that division? Who's a wild card team? Who's a division winner? I get it. But I will say this. Last weekend, the Cowboys sure did struggle defending the run. And you know what Detroit can do? Detroit can run the ball. So it's going to be an interesting final 3 weeks. Hooker time. Lions can literally get the number 1 seed to not even making the playoffs. Crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. It's, at the start of the year, I think we all had reasonable expectations for the Detroit Lions to continue what happened last year. I don't think anybody saw this happening. And I get in recent weeks, there was some raised eyebrows, some doom and gloom sayers and such. And rightly so. I mean, the team had not performed well until the Broncos game. They had really struggled for a bit. It seems like we've figured some things out, both schematically and with the players' health personnel. As you can see from the thumbnail, I'm a big component for what Ife Malafanu is providing to this defense. We talked about Tracy Walker having some strengths. Coverage in the passing game is not among them. Where Ife, he might not hit like Tracy Walker. He might not shoot the gaps and running plays like Walker. But you know what he is doing? He's giving Detroit a lot more flexibility in what they can call from a schematic standpoint and coverage responsibilities. Because with him out there, you could say Vildor and a couple of the other guys, the newer guys on the D, they are transforming that secondary and giving Aaron Glenn a lot more room to what he can roam and call out there instead of just playing stagnant zone all the time. They can mix things up, and that's a real credit to these players that they've elevated themselves to the point where they can be on the field. All right, Dr. Troy, good morning. Time to grab a Timmy. It'll be back. You'll be back. All right. Also, thank you, Seattle. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people in Detroit that were Seattle fans last night. Mile marker. It's a good morning. 10-4 on our way. Exactly, man. We're heading towards the playoffs. Hard to believe that the playoffs are only a month away. It doesn't seem like it should be that way, at least to me. But hey, we got 3 games left, and then obviously after that, we're steaming right into the playoffs. So it's a great time to be a Lions fan. All right, JDC, come on, Santa, make my day. All right, I like the Dirty Harry reference there. All right, what do you got? The Lions fan, what do you got? Greetings, salutations, Coach. Can we really get the 2nd seed? It is possible for sure. A lot of things are going to come into play these next few weeks that will affect the Lions and other teams, let alone seeding. So right now, the Lions have as good a chance as anybody to get that seed. What's going to happen is going to change on a week-to-week basis because now you have such a compact time frame. Basically, you have a 3-week season here, and yeah, 1 or 2 things going for or against you are going to impact the seedings quite a bit. Gildan, what do you got? I went to the Bears game with end zone seats. Lions didn't even come close to scoring on our end. Bad luck with Q changes. Why so hot and cold? Why do they have to, quote, bounce back every other game? You know, it's just, hey, look at the NFL. Look at even the top teams in the league this year. You know, I mean, there was a point to this past weekend where the Cardinals were actually in the game with the 49ers. I want to say even into the 3rd quarter. And the Cardinals, I think most would say they're not one of the better teams in the league. They're actually one of the worst teams. But that's the NFL. That's what they want. They want parity. You look at 2 weeks ago, the Packers, man, there was talk that they could, win out and claim the NFC North. Well, now they're probably not even going to make the playoffs. So, and that's just kind of my point. The margin for error in the NFL is incredibly small. People can say, well, hey, you've got 10 wins, you're 10-4, you should bury this team. That's usually not the case. I mean, you really got to be bad for a team to just dominate you because most games come down to, say, 5 plays. Really, that's the difference between winning and losing in most of these games. 1 play is removed from you that provides a score. 1 play is given to the other team that's a score. It completely changes how that game progresses. So I would say this, I would not ever go into a game anticipating a win. I'd rather have a team go out there saying, hey, we've got to earn a win today because most of the NFL is a game of inches. All right, Drake, what do you got? Good morning, all. Ife is just on their home spec working out. Yes, he is, man. And we all want, when we get rookies, we want them to perform now. But I would say you want justification why Broderick Martin shouldn't be written off as a bust yet. Look at Ife. Iffy's first few years, he's hurt fairly regularly, and because of that, he's not on the field a ton. So he's kind of what do we really get there? But you look at him now, I think we're all starting to celebrate this kid. What he's done as far as transforming from a full-time corner to now a safety who can cover. He's had to learn the nuances, the differences between both positions, and there are differences. When it comes to the coverage stuff, I mean, that's stuff that translates from one position to the other. But as far as your angles, they're different. Your responsibilities in the run game are different. Utilization on the blitz is different. So give this kid credit. It took him, I think, 3 years to get to where he is now. But I think we're all starting to see there's potential. He could really be something. And also, like I said earlier, a reason to not write off anybody until you get, you start getting to 2 or 3 years. Hey, you start forming a baseline for who you are as a player. Most players you get to the year 4 or 5 don't all of a sudden have a magical transformation to where they were an average player to now they're a star. And I'm not saying Iffy Melifonwu is a star, but I'm saying hey, he's finally gotten the opportunity, he's gotten healthy, and we can see where the development is taking place. Big Eddie, what do you got? All right, one place Holmes hasn't drafted overly well at is the D line. I'd say there's some argument for that for sure. Pascal's only in his second season. Aleem McNeil has turned out pretty well. We got Levi. I think, unfortunately for him, his lack of more success just ultimately comes down to that back. I give him all the credit in the world for being an NFL player with a fused spine. That's got to be painful, I got to imagine, most days. But, hey, overall, they haven't hit home runs. And I think that's where the real deficiency is so far with those defensive line picks. All right, Jerome, what do you got? Good morning, Coach. When Dan Campbell says he feels no pressure, do you think that's something he needs to say to reporters? I think just if you look at how he's wired, I don't really feel he really focuses on things other than how his team's performing. To me, and that's just a guess, that's how he is wired, that we can all say, you, me, or whoever on YouTube or in print media, what's left of it, we'll have our commentaries out there, and I'm sure he's not oblivious to them, but I do believe MCDC is just more focused on getting his team ready to perform and prepare their growth, their development. So that seems to be more of his makeup than somebody who's worried about the pressure of a game or what anybody thinks. Big Eddie, greetings and salutations all. Same to you, my friend. Ed, what do you got? Good morning, Coach. It felt odd cheering for the Seahawks last night. Being in the race for a playoff spot is so new to me. Now I know how other fans on other teams feel. Yeah, it's a great time of the year, isn't it? Because your team has a chance to win something. So in Lions' case, the NFC North. So you've got the rooting guides not only helping out with that for the last few weeks, but also helping out with seeding for where we're going to be in the playoffs. So it just adds so much more flavor to the season because now your fandom for your team extends to other teams because their results directly impact what's going to happen to the team you're directly cheering on. So it adds a lot to it, man. It's kind of fun. Phil, what do you got? Greetings and salutations, Coach. Yes, I built and played these guitars. That's awesome, man. That's really awesome, Phil. You are highly skilled, my friend. Boo, what do you got? Good morning, Duke Crew. I'm rather happy the Seahawks won. I have a clear shot. Lions have a clear shot at the second seed. That's right. Just win out and you got it, baby. And really, we go 3-0 here the rest of the way after having our 1-3 stretch or 1-2 stretch, excuse me, to go ahead and win out the final 4 games, win the North, get a second seed. That'd just be a hellaciously powerful season. And man, everybody wants to talk about this team. Everybody wants to talk about the future. Look at how many young players are performing on this team. Now you look at, hate saying it, but some of the players that will not be here next year. Look at the top 10 players as far as pay on this team, and you're going to see a Romeo Okwara. You're going to see Tracy Walker. You're going to see a couple of guys that are getting paid that aren't performing, and I'm going to anticipate next year they're probably not back, and that money's being freed up to reinvest in the team. Some of it's going to go to players that want to resign, but also some of it's going to be spent on free agents brought in to even help take this team to another level up. Whatever our final record's going to be, I'm not here to say today, but I'm going to say this. The Lions are going to have a real good building block foundation for this franchise to move forward for the foreseeable future. George, we got at Phil. How long did it take you to learn how to make those? I'm assuming the guitars. And yeah, that's a good question. Phil is highly skilled. AJ, what do you got? Good morning, all. Hard to believe this is real. The Lions are in a fight for the number 2 spot in the NFC. Yes, it is. It's strange territory for Lions fans. Phil, wow, Fender type guitars are both together, and the painting a setup that take time. Yeah, both together. I was wondering if that's what you meant. All right, Debbie, what do you got? Greetings and salutations, all. Same to you. Robert, greetings and salutations from Florida. Wow, 48 degrees here this morning. Feels like my days from Michigan. Yeah, our game last night got canceled because it was like an hour and a half drive. And yeah, the weather was not kind. I know the school is out today because it is that bad out. So you got 48. We've got I couldn't even tell you 25 according to the computers. So 25 degrees here, and it is snowy. Ed, what do you got? I think Laporta should be Rookie of the Year and make the Pro Bowl. Anyone else on our team up for Pro Bowl? Let's real quickly look at that. I think Goff's going to have some potential for the Pro Bowl. Probably Gibbs will have some potential for it. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Trying to think anyone on defense. Nobody on defense, I think, will make the Pro Bowl. Hutch has had a fair year, not a great year by any stretch of the imagination. Anyone else on offense? I guess maybe you could make a push for Panay. If I'm not thinking of somebody, go ahead and let me know, guys. But those would, at least off the top of my head, those would be the ones that pop in. Need to solder a bit. It's easy. Solder a bit, excuse me. Yeah, I'll leave that to you, man, because I don't know anything about that stuff. Jerome got, hey, Coach, do you think Sean Payton tried to take a cheap shot at the Lions coaching staff by saying they're just like a good CFL team because he lost? I think he was, at least I hope he was meaning, Jerome, more that the style offense. The CFL, if you've ever watched their games, they do tend to move that ball pretty quick. There's not a whole lot of third downs because I don't think there is a fourth down. You guys can correct me on that. I don't remember offhand, but I think you just have 3 downs to get first downs in the CFL. So help me out with that. And I think that's where he was going with it. Who knows? Maybe he was trying to take a cheap shot. I just didn't read it that way. Jason, we got San Fran are at plus 250 to win it all, while we are currently at plus 1,800. I think anyone in anyone is beatable in the NFC, but San Fran, it's going to take a bit to beat them, but you know, they do have some spots, like at least when I watch them, I'd go, okay, I would do this, I would do that. The biggest thing from a Lions standpoint, I think the Lions could score on them. Doesn't mean it would be easy, but they can move the ball on them. The hardest part for me is going to be, 1, protection of Goff, and then 2, I mean, you're going to have to commit some stuff on D to stop in the run game for the 49ers, which we fortunately were pretty decent at it. But I think it's going to take another step forward in stopping their run game, which then lays into what they do with their skill positions as far as the outside guys. We'll worry about that when we get there, but they would be there. I mean, to your point, they're going to be a bad matchup for most teams because they can really impose their will upon you. So, but Lions spread them out, make that D a little bit more agreeable to us offensively. They could score some points out of them. All right, Phil. Matt Patricia is toxic wherever he goes. Yeah, I'm not a real big fan of the guy. Hopefully, he grew up a little bit, maybe. That's the only thing I could hope for him, is that he grew up and said, hey, maybe I was a little stubborn, pig-headed, whatever you want to say, and maybe I need to be a little bit more open-minded to people. See what shakes out. Doug, what do you got? We won't catch 49ers, but we do have some chance of number 2 slot in the playoffs. Yes, we do. Yeah, we've definitely got a good chance of the number 2 seed. But again, it's going to come down to how you perform these last 3 games. All right, Garland, what do you got? HM, not sure what that means. Good morning. Okay, good morning to you too. All right, Phil, 49ers lost 3 straight too. They did, so maybe they could do that again. That would help out. Alec, good morning, Coach. Huge weekend. Eagles lost. Dallas on the road versus Miami. Lions can legit move into the number 2 seed. Yes, they can, man. And it's these last few weeks, man, we're going to have a reason to watch not just our own team, but several other teams are going to have meaningful impacts on the Detroit Lions. It's going to be fun to just kick back and watch it all roll out. This is new territory for the Detroit Lions fans. All right, Youpers Lights, Eric. Okay, what do you got? Number 1 or number 2 is back on the table. Yes, they are. Detroit, Dr. Detroit, everything we needed to happen happened. We usually don't get this kind of luck. No, you're 100% right, man. Everything you could have basically dialed up, other than the 49ers didn't lose. That's really it. I mean, everything else went as perfect for the Detroit Lions as possible. So hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully somebody gets the 49ers and go on another 3-game losing streak. Michael, howdy, Dan. Lions feel just dominate the Vikings. Yeah, that's where all eyes should be turning to now. To your point, Michael, is, man, get into Minnesota. Beat them down, get that win, do it any way you got to try to. And I got to try to get Peter from the Minnesota Vikings YouTube channel. See if he can come on this week or whatever. Who knows? Maybe even try to talk to him about doing a live cast or whatever, because that would be kind of interesting having a Lions YouTube content provider and a Minnesota Vikings one do a broadcast together. But hey, this is where we're at. Get one more win. You got the North, and you're going to have at least a playoff game. Get greedy beyond that. See if you can push for getting the number 2 seed, because that will get you 2 home playoff games. Robert, what do you got? Already pumped for Sunday's game? Yeah, me too, man. This is going to be a big weekend for Lions fans. Man, you got the holidays coming up. You got everything unfolding almost perfectly for Detroit. Hey, it's a great time to be a Lions fan. All right, Gary, go ahead. Good morning. I'm watching on a long-distance train going to California. Way to blow it, Eagles. So, man, you're taking a train to California. How long? Gary, I don't remember where you're moving or going from, but that's got to be a relaxing way to drive, or ride a train. How long does that train ride take? That would be my question. All right, Matthew Perry, what do you got? Greetings and salutation. With the number 2 seed on the line, we probably will not see Hooker. Probably not unless something changes going to that last weekend, where now that game really just lacks importance or something. If that happens, then maybe there's a chance at it, but we'll wait and see. Oops, what do you got? Let's earn it Sunday. No backing in. Yeah, I'm all for that, man. Make that game mean something. Go out there and again continue to establish who your identity is on offense and defense, and try to keep building up the confidence of the players. Mike, what do you got? Hi from Florida. It's hopefully it's significantly warmer for you, Mike, than it is for us this morning here in Michigan. All right, Jerome, what do you got? Hey, Coach, do you always tell your players the truth about his talents level? Yes, I do. Yeah, I don't mince words. To me, you got a kid who's out there. They got goals or aspirations to do something, whether it's in season or whatever it may be. You want to be as honest but respectful of them as possible. Hey, you want to do this or that? Well, we got to work on this or that. Be honest with them about their strengths as much as you are, their areas for improvement. Because if you aren't honest with them and you just sugarcoat it, then you're doing a disservice for them, because then you kind of help rob them of their opportunities to improve some of those areas that aren't as strong. All right, Matthew, what do you got? Love how we got down. I'm very interested in see where we end up. Be nice to have a number 2 or have 2 home playoff games. It would be, man, Matthew. It would be big time, and something I can say I've never seen as a Lions fan. I've seen the playoff win. Yes, the beat down of the Dallas Cowboys, but that was one playoff game, and then obviously we went on the road to RFK Stadium, and that didn't go so well. But anyways, we'll see what happens this year. And I heard MCDC makes his coaches listen to Lions Talk Live. Maybe that's why they are playing better. Well, if they can, man, maybe they can send Lions Talk Live a check for a lifelong pass for the sip and save at Circle K. I would be thankful for that. It would save me about $10 a month. Upers, what do you got? Win out, and we are number 2 seed. Yes. So if we win out, yeah, nobody can touch us. We got it. And I don't remember all the different tiebreakers that come into play that make us the number 2 seed, but let's just say this. You're right. Yeah. If we win 3 in a row at this point, we will be the number 2 seed. Lone Wolf, let's win the North. Go beat the Vikings. I'm liking the way you're thinking. Donkey Kong, yes, Super Bowl or bust, as a time-honored tradition of his statements here in the channel. Boo, what do you got? Funny, Ed, yes, 100%. All right, Gun Guy. So who's benching Goff today? Say it with your chest out. Probably nobody today, man, because Goff, in part because of that performance, I don't remember it, but I want to say he's the first Lions quarterback of the Super Bowl era to throw at least 25 touchdown passes in 2 seasons. And I was surprised by that, because I thought Stafford had done that, but there was something that popped up that said that he's the first one to do it in back-to-back seasons in the Super Bowl era. So don't hold me to that fully, but there was something that popped up about that recently. Man Bear, where at in Florida? That I don't know. So you guys have to talk about that in the chat. JDC Dunkong, just one before I'm a deep 6th. Okay. Gun Guy, Lions have a road to the number 1 seed. They do. And they need a little bit of help with that, but they do have you are correct. They could still get the number 1 seed. One Funky, good morning, all. Good morning to you, too. Man Bear, I just moved back to Michigan from North Point, Florida. Well, welcome back, man. Welcome back to Michigan. I'm sure you're embracing the weather at this point. Man Bear, at Mike, yeah, at Mike. All right. Trump, I would have stayed in Florida. Michigan is run by, oh boy, here we go. All right, no politics in this, please. Brother Ken, Pete Rozelle was a visionary when he pushed for any given Sunday. I love parody, makes the sport more interesting. Yeah. I mean, I used to be a huge Pistons fan back in the day. You know, the Bad Boys and the Go to Work Bad Boys, all that stuff. But could you imagine being a diehard Pistons fan nowadays? I mean, but to your point, Brother Ken, the NFL is great in the fact that really on any given game, there's very rare circumstances where a team has zero chance, and that's one of the beauties of it. Fans have a reason to cheer, believe throughout most of the year, and it's unlike any other sport out there currently. JP, what do you got? Good morning, Coach Dan. Lions still have a chance at the number 2 seed. Yes, they do, sir. It's an awesome thing to say. All right, Oops, what do you got? Laporta should get Rookie of the Year. He's got a real good chance at it, and not just that, but think about this. He got 3 games left. He could still set a few more rookie tight end records. He could be the greatest rookie tight end of all time, and that's saying something because the guys in his conversation, they are all-time greats. There are gold jacket wearers and stuff like that. I never thought Mike Ditka's rookie record would be caught. I thought the one kid who had a chance was oh gosh, I don't remember his name, but he plays down in Atlanta, and he came close. I mean, he was within, I want to say 50 yards of at least the yardage for Mike Ditka's rookie year. But I want to say he was off by like 10 or 11 touchdowns, or Laporta has a chance to get the yardage and the touchdowns that Mike Ditka had. And that really says something because you go back to whenever Ditka's rookie year was, I want to say it was 1960 or 62. Think about that in the day and age, as offenses have evolved and all the rules favor the offenses, that nobody's still touched that record in 60 years. And the NFL and offenses back then were completely different than they are now. That shows just how special Ditka's rookie season really was. And I hope Laporta gets it because that's something the franchise could hold on to forever, let alone that kid, man. What he's doing is just insane. All right, what do you got? Matt, for the playoffs, I want them to only wear the all blues or all white jerseys. We seem to play great in those. Yeah, we can wear the all whites on the road and the all blues at home. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I have no information whatsoever on the uniform choices of the Detroit Lions. So we'll see what happens. I know which ones I like, but I know we typically don't play well or as well in them. Not since the 90s. All right, Caps, what do you got? Football guards are shining down. Come on, number 2 seed. You're right, man. This past weekend, you want to believe in higher powers. You watch the NFL results. You got to believe there's some sort of divine intervention. All right, Gun Guy. If Ravens beat 49ers, Lions can win the number 1 seed. Yes, they can. And I got to imagine all Lions fans' eyes will be on that game. But again, this is what I'm talking about. Not only are we interested in what our team does at this point in the year, but we are all gravitating and moving our eyes onto all the teams that now directly affect the Detroit Lions. It just makes it so much more fun. I was trying to explain it to Jen. She doesn't know jack about football, let alone basketball. And you know what? She's starting to get some of it. We'll put it that way. She's starting to pick up some nuances here and there. But I can also tell you 15 minutes later, she's probably taking a nap during the game. JDC, Sam Laporta power. Yeah, he's out there, and he's just, it's incredible watching him work out there. All right, Gary, who hates the Cowboys? Can't stand that team. I know there's a lot of people that are not fans of the Cowboys, so, hey, it's a great time to root against them right now. Rudy, what do you got? What's your thoughts on resting Ragnow for the playoffs? Maybe the last week of the regular season, if that game doesn't have any meaning, I can see that. I can see us sitting basically everybody who's a starting offensive player or defensive player. Again, maybe you give them some reps the first quarter, but I think beyond that, you're probably just having them sit. Ragnow would probably benefit greatly from it. I think the problem becomes, since you're still trying to secure the NFC North and or the number 1 or 2 playoff seed, these guys have a reason to be on that field. And I think while for fans we could say, hey, maybe it's not a big deal, to those players and those coaches, that's a huge thing. That is a badge of honor, especially if you're someone like Ragnow or Decker, who've been through the mud of the Patricia era and you just really seen some hard times. The fact that you're going to the playoffs and have a chance at the NFC North and have a chance at the number 1 or 2 seed, yeah, those guys they'd probably stab somebody if they try to take them off the field. I mean, they want to be on that field. They want to, be able to say, hey, we've taken the franchise here. That is a badge of honor, and I have no doubt they would run through a wall to try to help make that happen. All right, Trump, what do you got? Black and blue jerseys are killer. Yes. All right, we'll go with that. All right, Ed, what do you got? NFL is a back game of inches. Yes, even when the Lions went 0-16, there were a lot of close games. Yep, and you are 100% right. They had their opportunities to get rid off the schneid there. It just unfortunately never happened. All right, Lone Wolf, what do you think will happen between Sean Payton and Wilson? I think eventually they're either in the offseason going to have to move on from each other. The problem, if I'm Denver, is who's going to take Russell Wilson and that contract. I'm glad he's had a bounce back year, but at the same time, he's getting up there in age. The contract is a little hefty. His skills aren't what they once were. I think they might be stuck with him unless they're just going to outright cut him and then eat the contract and then obviously have the dead money on the books for a little while. All right, Doc, what do you got? Doc Beck, number 1 seed, number 2 seed. Let's win the North first. I agree with that. Secure the North first, then worry about the other stuff. All right, Kevin, what do you got? I hate Eagles fans and Chicago fans. All right, hate is a powerful word, but we'll let you go with it, man. I'm sure you are enjoying this morning then if you hate the Eagles so much. All right, Gary, future QB, Hooker or Goff? I say Hooker. It comes on down to dual threat and save for other needs. I do think there's growing potential, and I think I mentioned this yesterday, that the Lions don't re-sign Goff. That what they may choose to do is, hey, maybe they see enough in Hooker now where they're like, let's wait and see what things shake out. We have Goff. We all know this for 1 more year. Beyond that, if we want to keep resigning him without a long-term deal, you can franchise him. That would give you 3 more years with Goff, and really before you have to make a choice, hey, we're going to sign you to a longer contract or whatever have you. Plus, it gives you more time to sit and evaluate Hooker, or if you were to bring in somebody else. I don't know what they're going to do. That bounce back game was huge for them. Like I said earlier, I think it probably at least gives them some shot at the MVP, at least for the NFC. We'll see what shakes out. But if Goff has 2 or 3 more games like that to end the year, plus do something special in the postseason, it makes it harder and harder, I think, to step away from him. Goff has some strengths. He has some weaknesses. I think Brad Holmes summed it up very correctly the past offseason, or maybe it was earlier in the season, when people brought up the topic of Goff, hey, moving on from him. It will be a whole lot easier. The one thing I agree on this, it would be much easier to take a dive and get somebody worse than Goff than it will be to get somebody better. Is he one of the rare quarterbacks that fits any system that can just go out there with 10 other dudes and make it happen? He's not that. He needs specific parts around him. He needs certain things to unfold for him. With that being said, that is the majority of the quarterbacks in the league. And I think we would all agree at least half of the NFL wishes they had a quarterback like Goff. Then if you remove, 16 of the teams, or 18 of the teams like that way, or 16 teams who would die to have a Goff. Now, how many of the remaining 16 teams could he look at their roster and say, yeah, they've got a guy that's slightly better than Goff? And there's probably not a ton. So that's where I think they're in a tough spot with, and we'll see where it shakes out, but there'll be stuff for the offseason. All right, Southwest line, Jalen Carter may be a good player, but that Philadelphia defense is not good. They're giving up a lot of points. I'm glad we have Gibbs and Laporta. Yeah, I think there's probably – so at the start of the year, I get most people wanted Carter, especially when he started the season off, pretty hot. He was on fire for a while. He's cooled down a little bit as teams have figured out how to block him better. Plus, some of the blocking or some of the players around him have kind of regressed a little bit. And there's a multitude of reasons for it. It's not just on the players. But to your point, knowing what we know now, You got Gibbs and Laporta because you passed on Carter. I think most people are going to say, yeah, you probably made the right move there now. Doesn't mean you couldn't say, hey, Carter would have been a bad pick if you would have taken him, but you got 2 for 1, and it looks like you got 2 possible Pro Bowl players by passing on one kid. The other part is, too, who knows how it affects the rest of the draft. Would you have also conversely missed out on Brian Branch? Brian Branch isn't going to probably make the Pro Bowl this year, but he's a pretty good player. So you got 3 players by passing on one. Could they have still got him? Maybe. There's even an argument maybe Campbell wouldn't have been there. But I'm going to say this. For our top 4 players, it would be real hard to pick 4 players that have performed better than these guys. So to your point, Southwest, yeah, I'm good with where we're at. All right, Man Bear, what do you got? Trump's Genius. I can't wait to see the new uniforms next year. Well, we're going to have to wait a little bit longer, but yeah, we'll see them soon enough. Brent, good morning. Good morning. Been waiting a long time for a season like this. Yes, I think we all have, man. And yeah, still hope for an NFC Championship game appearance. Go Lions. That would be something, man. A great story if it happens. And let's get the North locked up. Try to focus on seeding, and then make a push, like you were saying, to the NFC Championship game. Kenneth, will JJ Letta play this weekend against the Lions? That I don't know offhand. I'll have to try to get some information for you for tomorrow's show. All right, Brother Ken, if the Lions host the Rams, I'm encouraging Lions fan to give Matt Stafford a rousing ovation. He played his heart out for us. Yeah, he did, man. I've got no hate for him. I wish him well in life, football, whatever, but not when he's playing against Detroit. The guy gave it his all. He gave up his body. Yeah, there should be no ill will for him other than, obviously you don't want him to play overly well against the Lions. JDC, don't hate me because I'm a Lions fan. Hate me because I hate your team. I'll go with that. Motown Mitch, we got number 2 team in the NFC, and the fans want a new QB. It's part of being a Lions fan. We'll go with that. Southwest, right. I would give Stafford a standing ovation, then go out and beat the Rams. Yeah, beat him down. Give him his props, give him his praise, thank him for all of his time, here in Detroit, all those things. But you get your chance to take a shot on him, you take a shot on him, put him down, because, when that whistle blows, when that kickoff happens, he is now the enemy. Definitely got off with Stafford's kneecaps. Morning, everyone. Yeah, exactly. That ball goes up in the air on the opening kickoff. He's no longer your friend. You can shake him, shake his hand, give him a hug, celebrate him afterwards, but not during the game. Boo, what do you got? Anzalone for the Pro Bowl? That might be, you might have a point there. I did not think about that, but he has had a pretty good year. Motown, you could make a case for AA making, probably he had a heck of a year. All right, we'll go with that. He's not, Anzalone, he's not done bad this year. You are correct. Man Bear, I'd love to check out the webpage with the guitars you have made and may sell. Talk to Phil about that, because Phil does do very good work there. Motown Pro Bowl, not probably. Yeah, okay. Mile marker, Sheboygan County, 17 degrees. Snow stopped last night. Yay. All right. I know down here there are some areas that got hit significantly worse than my area, and some of them are shut down. Man Bear, Clare County, 22 degrees. All right. Southwest, I keep thinking of what Mike said in Rock. I'm thinking Mitch said in Rocky, or Mick said in Rocky too. We got to have speed. Greasy, fast speed. Speed is what we need. We need speed. The Lions defense looked faster on Saturday than it had all season. I agree. They got more athletes, more dudes on the field. Trump, global warming is a hoax for the, okay, we'll go for that. Mile marker smile. All right. Eduardo, Minnesota plays a lot of man and will pressure golf. Need to be good to find the wide open man that will be there. Yeah, they do play a lot of man over the top. And it's hard to believe this is the first time we've played them all year. But to your point, they're going to do a lot of the similar things that the Saints and some other teams have done. And they do have the ability to get to the quarterback. So this is not going to be a cakewalk game. I would think, at least. Phil, what do you got? Man Bear, what do you got? Phil, do you have a page? I'll let Phil know in the comments section. Hopefully he'll put something out there. JDC in Southwest. At this point in my life, I could use some speed too. Yeah, we all can, man. Mr. Big Money. All right, what do you got? If we play the next 3 games like we did against Denver, we can get the number 1 spot. Yeah, 49ers losing the Ravens game. Yeah, 100%. If we play anything like that, we perform well, we do have a chance, and we're going to put some pressure on the 49ers. Eduardo, Minnesota's defense is susceptible to the big play. It is. When you play man, somebody trips, falls, anything, there's just less help in coverage around you because depending on the route concepts and such, you can gash them if you hit it. I remember Page. Yeah, I knew what you meant, man. Robert, what do you got? We have the Cowboys on Saturday night. On Saturday night, we will win primetime games. Go Lions. You are correct there, Robert. We are 5-0 in primetime this year. Nathan, what do you got? Morning dew crew. A little late this morning. No worries, man. Have a dew and wake up. Join the show. Southwest, Eduardo going up against Brian Flores is going to be a huge test for Ben Johnson. It is, man. You're going to have two good people at their craft going up against each other. Brian Flores has a little bit more experience. We'll see how Ben Johnson counters what he likes to do. Minnesota run defense is also susceptible. Yeah, them and the Cowboys are showing some signs of being able to be ran on in the season. So see what happens, but I'm confident if we come out aggressive, we can hit some shots against both teams. Eduardo, and our defense should be able to rattle their offense enough just to come away with a win. Let's hope so. Game of inches, though. You get home on either quarterback, you're going to have an opportunity. Southwest Minnesota loads the box, and they will try to make the quarterback get rid of the ball quickly to camouflage deficiencies in their secondary. It's a smart strategy. Yeah, anytime you put pressure on the other team, you're going to give up some things, but you're also going to create some opportunities for your team. So I'm always a fan of pressure. Don Kung should be able to rattle the quarterback. Lions are better than the Vikings. What an X-Makes gift, clinching the North. That would be a nice way to go into Christmas Day, wouldn't it? Unlike last year. Eduardo, hope the team keeps their aggressiveness. I hope so too, man. I think you just play better when you're aggressive. Yes, you're going to miss some things here and there, but you know what? Force teams to augment what they want to do based on you. All right, Trump, Dave Pike just copied your format of live chat. It happens. I have no idea who Dave Pike is, but somebody wants to do what I'm doing. That happens, man. All right, what do you got, Matthew? What do you got? What's up with Stephen Gilmore? Just hasn't made the field yet. So why he hasn't been out there, that I couldn't answer. But obviously, the new format for the Lions secondary has proven to be pretty successful so far. All right, Antonio C., would you rather the Lions play the Rams or Seahawks in the first playoff game? Ooh. Well, I think they both provide the Lions with some difficulties. I mean, but there's a reason why both of them are quote unquote playoff teams at this point. They're gonna both have some matchup issues that are gonna be issues for the Lions. I guess if I had to pick, you're splitting hairs here, but I'd probably go with the Rams. I think their defense is a little bit more susceptible. Boy, you can do a few more things against the Rams defense than I think you can the Seahawks. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, if I had to pick between those two, I guess I'm going with the Rams. But it wouldn't be by much. Eduardo, our speed will challenge Minnesota, and their cornerbacks aren't physical. They are not. You are correct on that. Terrence, is the train the Southwest chef? That's something I guess we'll have to get an answer on. Eduardo, with the constant man-to-man, JMO and Gibbs could be keys to beat Minnesota. Yeah, they're bad matchups 100% for anybody who wants to guard in-person defense, just because both of them, any kind of slip-up by that defender, those two players can make a significant gain in a hurry. Michael, everyone's saying how great the Eagles and Cowboys are. They are beatable. Let's go Lions. Yeah, every team in this league can be beat. The 49ers obviously are a bad matchup for most teams. But to your point, I mean, look at them. They have some strengths. They also are showing some signs of deficiencies. Once somebody figures something out with you, everybody starts jumping on it and copying it, and it's really up to your staff to try to now mask that or fix it. And that's a tough thing to do at times. Gary, what do you got? Niles, Michigan to Riverside, California, 44-hour sleeper. Wow, love it. Great views and very relaxing. That's something I might have to look into, man. Niles, Michigan, I know exactly where that is. That's actually who we played Thursday. Played Niles. But anyways, I might have to look into that. I'm guessing, so what, 2-day trip for you to get out there? That's actually not that bad at all, if that's correct. All right, Wardo, what do you got? With Minnesota and Dallas, the strategy would be if they win the toss to receive score and make them have to catch up to us. Yeah, I like the idea of putting the offense out there first and be aggressive right off the bat. Southwest, what do you got? The game last night is a reminder that the team that has to win often brings more juice than the team that with a better record. The Lions need the sense of urgency than the that they played with against Denver. Yeah, they do. They need to come out there hungry, ready to feast and eat and put it on Minnesota, because Minnesota, as we all know, is going to be playing for their playoff lives. So they're going to have a reason to perform out there. Eagles gave Locke too much time to throw. I would agree with that. Yeah, they let a less than perfect quarterback when it comes to accuracy. A kid who was a little rattled. I thought, to your point, Southwest, yeah, the Eagles played pretty conservatively. Trump, no bit lady. No, I know she said she's been sick, so maybe she's sleeping in. We do have to remember it's almost 8 p.m. her time, so hopefully she feels well. All right, Dr. Detroit, we had all the luck we needed. Now just need to finish. It's on us. We control our destiny. I agree with you, Dr. D. Dr. Detroit, absolutely. The Lions have had plenty of help. They need to finish. I agree with that. Eduardo, need a statement road win versus Minnesota on Sunday. Let's get it. Yeah, go out there and continue what you did this past weekend. Keep the trend being your friend. Robert, at Lake Placid, Florida. All right. Hopefully it's a little bit warmer for you than it is for us. Mr. Big Money, if we play the next 3 games like we did against Denver, we can get the number 1 spot. 49ers losing the Ravens. I agree with you, man. 100%. Manbear, yep. Dr. Detroit, Manbear, yep. Mr. Ed, I'm in, oh boy, Weewood Lake, Florida. I'm probably killing that pronunciation, so sorry, guys. Eduardo, AG was disguising the defense on Saturday. Need more of that. I agree. Anytime you can camouflage what you're doing, especially like with Minnesota, you're going to have a less experienced quarterback. You're probably going to have a good situation for more success. Man Barrett, what's up, Dr. D? All right. Southwest, you had to know Philadelphia was going to lose that game the way they did last night. They're not playing well. Yeah, they've got some confidence issues, I would say, at this point. All right, JP, what do you got? Yeah, but did it in 14 games. That's the other point, that with a lot of these records, it's just incredible. Again, to your point, JP, did it in 14 games in an era where most teams weren't airing the ball out left and right. It's the fact that record stood for so long. I mean, part of me almost wants it to remain, because I don't think you're going to see anybody approach it anytime soon, but at the same time, all records fall eventually, or most records fall eventually. And I'll say this, yeah, I hope Laporta can get it. All right, Dr. Detroit, good. Hopefully that rubs off on San Francisco. Agreed. Southwest, Dr. G, I doubt it. I think they got out of their system earlier. They got the losing out of their system. I hope they find it again. Mr. Big Money, if we play the next 3 games like we did, yeah, we'll get the number 1 spot. Agreed. Eduardo, yes, it was AG's best game, but they did let up in the second half, giving up 17 points. Some of that, though, you got to give credit to the other team. Teams do have talent. They do have other people that they're making their lives doing this. You can say what you want, but give Denver some credit as well, because they do have some good players and coaches. All right, Matthew, if Goff can throw to Laporta 1 15 to 20-yard pass every quarter the last 3 games, then Laporta will be in the conversation as one of the top 10 tight end rookies ever. I would say, yeah, he's got a chance of that record. Phil, 48K subscribers. Congrats, Coach. Yeah, I think we're down to needing, oh boy, whatever it is, 190 to get to 5,000, 90 to get to 4,900. So if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, maybe consider doing so. All right, Matthew, nobody can catch Ditka. He did it in 14 games, average around 20 yards per pass. Yeah, he's just incredible season. David, just won, baby. The going to work Lions. I like that. The going to work Lions. Eduardo, Dan has the team focused on their job at hand and win the division. And if they do that, they're going into Dallas, and when they'll give that team confidence, they can beat anyone. Yeah, I would agree with that. You go into Dallas and get that win, that'd be a huge boost for the coaching staff and players. JDC Magic 8 Ball says, please give Coach Dan some love. Thumbs up. Yes. If you haven't yet already, hit that thumbs up button. Pretty please. Phil, Dan has the next OC of the pipeline. Hooker fits the future plans. Who knows? But my guess is, knowing that Ben Johnson has some possibility of not returning next year, they probably have one or two people in the system for the Lions working with them, basically as mentors, understudies, whatever I say, apprentices, trying to learn from them. Southwest, the Pistons coach ought to give back some of his salary. It's shocking how poorly they're playing. I watched, just out of morbid curiosity, because I haven't watched the Pistons in earnest. I used to go to the Palace and everything, and was it 2003 when they were, making the championship runs and stuff like that, and go to the playoff games, even some of the finals, and I'd watch them. About 10 years ago, I kind of really fell out of favor for watching them. They just weren't great. But about a week or so ago, I watched some of it, and it's hard for me, man, to comment on it, but I'll just say this. It's almost, if you guys have ever seen Major League, it's almost like you're trying to put out a product so bad that the fans don't come. So potentially you can move the team somewhere else, because some of this is almost borderline intentional, how poorly this team is being ran. I'll leave it at that, man. This is Detroit Lions talk, not Pistons talk. Dr. Detroit, I agree. It's all on Goff and how he plays going forward. Yeah. He's going to be writing his own check, literally. Trump said, if we lose offense and defensive coordinator, do we get comp picks? I don't believe so for offense. I would say for Aaron Glenn, it is potential. All right, Key, what do you got? I also see a situation of if when the Lions clinch a playoff spot north this Sunday, I can easily see Dan Campbell giving Teddy 2 gloves the start for the rest of the final for his curtain call. That's a good point too, based on who Campbell is. Again, it would come down to, does that last game of the regular season have any impact on the Lions as a team, from a playoff seeding or whatever have you. I think that would supersede any interest in Teddy Bridgewater going out there. Now, if that game isn't going to affect standings at all, to your point, I could see what you're saying there, Key, about him giving Bridgewater the start, kind of his swan song call. And that would be a real class act move. All right, we got Southwest Dr. Detroit. We all know the formula is for Goff playing well. Give him enough time to throw. He was sacked twice, but that was as well as they had protected him all year. Yeah, the sacks were early, and after that, they really cleaned that up. Mom Marker, sure, we want to be on the sure they want to be on the field. Why? So I can look back and say, see, I did that. It was me, Jamie Lee Curtis character in True Lies. All right, I see what you're saying there. I like the all blue jerseys. I hope they wear those in the postseason. They might. Southwest. Phil, Detroit still loves them. Correct. All right, a couple more here, and then it's time for me to hit the road for the Mountain Dew and test out those roads. Matthew, Detroit made the right choice with Jalen Carter and DeAndre Swift. Jalen Carter needed to be somewhere he could have a backup system with all his Georgia teammates. And Philly, he might just make it. He might, yeah. Phil, no. All right. Matthew, I heard Jalen Carter was already picked up for shoplifting. Imagine what it could be if he was somewhere without his teammates to back him up. I had not heard that about Jalen Carter, but then again, I don't really pay attention to Carter or the Eagles, so I am oblivious to it. Bumper, what do you got? How about Hooker in a second QB play scenario? Play like Saints do for Goff or to Hooker, then throw to Laporta TD, Ben Johnson innovation. It could happen. The only thing I would say is, in order to make that happen, you're going to have to put somebody on the bench to have Hooker on the 53-man roster. Maybe they do that. Maybe they don't. We'll see. David cherry picks everyone. I have no idea who David is. So I guess we'll wait and see. You guys can let me know. All right. Boo, what do you got? Rarely do defenses excel at both run and pass. Cowboys and Vikings are built for rushing the quarterback. Yes, they are. I would agree with that. Boo, what do you got? Rams, McVay have been kryptonite for the 49ers any given Sunday. I think you got a good catch there. Very good catch. Scouts Outdoor Services, what do you got? Rams, Seahawks seem to own the Lions. Definitely the Seahawks have in recent years. I'm trying to remember when is the last time. Well, we did play. Yeah, Stafford's first year in LA. We did play there. That's correct. I forgot about that. Scouts, certainly the Seahawks do. Yes, I would agree with that. Phil, Patricia is terrible. There's probably not a lot of fans in Detroit area of Matt Patricia. What do you got? Southwest Phil, his strategy of the little blitzing predictability backfired. They gave too much time. He was comfortable back there. He was. Yeah, I am not a fan of having quarterbacks feel comfortable, feel calm back there in the pocket. Trucker Man, what do you got? When do we get James Houston back? James Houston back? I gotta imagine we'll probably hear an update within the next week on him. Think back to what Dan Campbell said just a week ago about CD Deuce, CJ Gardner-Johnson at the start of the week before they announced he would be coming back. They said they were both on roughly the same time frame. So CD's back now. I gotta imagine we're gonna get something on Houston pretty quick here. Matthew, what do you got? You can catch Amtrak at multiple cities. Yeah, there's a spot here in Kalamazoo. Detroit, Ann Arbor, foul line, foul 94. Flint, Durand, Lansing, foul 69. They meet up around Battle Creek and then go to Kalamazoo. You are correct. Down to Chicago. Then go east or west. Correct. Gary, yeah, the Southwest Chef. Yeah, I'm going to have to check that out, man. Yeah, Trigger Man, I knew what you meant about James Houston. Yeah. All right, Trump cannot beat the refs in Dallas. Well, you're going to just have to play that well where the refs don't matter. All right, Mag 7, the Lions better do whatever to keep Gibbs and JMO. Yeah, I got to say, don't let either one of them go. All right, Michael, what do you got? Far as Pistons, everything woke turns to, oh boy, here we go. JDC, Trump's over the years, it seems that way. Correct. All right, Matthew, what do you got? Going long trip on Amtrak with a sleeper berth is best. Excuse me. Daughter went cheaper way and paid for it in the end. Lost a day recovering from trip. All right. Yes, sleeper JDC. Tone, what's up with James Houston? I'm guessing that within the next 7 days we'll have an update on him. Whether it's this week or early next week, we're probably going to hear something from the team on that. All right, guys, it's been almost an hour. The Mountain Dew is calling me, and then I got to get ready for work. So hope you all have a great one. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, why not? Come on now. Hop on in. Help if you can. We need, I say, 90 about 90 more subs to hit the 4,900 mark, and obviously the road to the march for 5,000. Hope you all have a great one. Hit that thumbs up button, and we'll see you all on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, all.